Aston Villa take on Liverpool in what could potentially be a banana skin for Liverpool. Aston Villa have only lost one game at home this season. That was against
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
exactly. So I wonder when you look at Liverpool's fixtures, if Arsenal are looking at this, they're probably going. If they've got a chance in this title race, it's probably in this little stretch here.
Yeah. But I remember we did this before, right? With Liverpool. It's like, okay, so they've got Leverkusen and they've got Real Madrid and they've got Chelsea, and they just won all those games.
Yeah.
They just won all those games. But I do think it's slightly different now, though. I do think that it does come to a point, even if you run away with the league, it gets to a point where you have a little bit of a sticky part of the season. I think this will be it for Liverpool. You've seen it in recent weeks where the games have not come as easy. Everybody looks at the result against Bournemouth, but Liverpool could have lost that game. Bournemouth missed some big chances. I'm just looking at this Liverpool team right now who've got so much attack and talent. It's going to come to a point where things aren't clicking. You have one or two poor results. The refereeing decision doesn't go your way. And it's about the mental fortitude that you have to overcome that. I do still expect Liverpool to win this league, but I think this game is a huge test for them. And if they win it, I think most Liverpool fans will think that they've got one hand on the league title.
The year Liverpool won the league, they beat Villa 2-1, where Sadio Mane scored a late goal. Do you remember? I think that same weekend, Man City drew and Liverpool won that game. This fixture always has this, like, it feels like this fixture on its own can decide things sometimes. And I think a lot of teams, when you go to Villa, it feels that way because they always put up a fight. Unai Emery is so tactically versed against big sides, and they love a big game. Do you think with what Villa have at the moment, they've got a few injuries as well, by the way, that they could have enough to cause problems for Liverpool?
I do think this game will be very difficult for Liverpool, as it always is when they go to Villa Park. But I just think that the way that they're playing at the moment, it doesn't really matter who they come up against. You mentioned it with the Real Madrid. They had a period where they played like 4 ridiculously hard away games in a week, came out, won every single game. And I think there's probably a little bit of confidence in there now. And I don't know how much players look at other teams and what other teams have to offer, but I wonder if they're looking at this Havertz injury and thinking to themselves, okay, Arsenal have no firepower now up front. And I wonder if that relieves a little bit of pressure off them for certain games like this.
So I think this is where psychology is, and we love psychology here and narrative. I think that's where this becomes really interesting because we can look at the Everton game, for example, and go, it was a head loss. That's what a lot of people would say. We haven't seen Liverpool feel that rattled, is what you said off air. And then you could look at that and also go, but that's going to kickstart them. In the same way, you could look at the Havertz thing and go, they know it's done. But that could also catch them out. Do you think that psychologically we've actually seen Liverpool tested at all this season?
That's a good question. Yes, to an extent, but they've not been put under duress. So yeah, these games are psychologically challenging. The Real Madrid game was a tough game. People thought that Real Madrid would be a tough out for Liverpool. They managed to get the result. They had to go to the Emirates and they managed to get a draw in that game. They avoided defeats in big games. But in terms of being put under pressure to a point of, we've had one poor result and another poor result and another poor result, not yet. And we might see that come in this run of difficult fixtures. The thing I'm looking at in this game is, if I remember correctly, Liverpool versus Villa, the first one, it was where Villa on corners were just getting counter-attacked consistently with Nunes and Salah. And if that's a threat, and if Villa play the same way they did against Liverpool at Anfield, then Liverpool put them to the sword. This is a Liverpool team that are lethal in the counter-attack, the best team in the Premier League, just because of how dynamic their forwards are. And so it'll be interesting to see how Unai Emery sets up his team at home, because at home you're expected to be a bit more front-footed, a bit more decisive, a bit more creative on the ball. And if Unai Emery goes for the game even an ounce, I think that Liverpool will kill them. But if Aston Villa set up to make it life difficult for Liverpool, then I think it could be a difficult game for Liverpool.
I wonder if, and I like that point about Villa at home and away. I think they're probably one of the very few teams in the league that can get away with playing defensive at home because the fans don't have that expectation of, like, we should play attacking against everyone. And that's obviously why Unai Emery is such a good fit for them. But I wonder if in this game, giving Liverpool all the ball is actually quite dangerous. Because Liverpool in possession are the best team in the league this season, along with probably Arsenal, I'd say. But then you've got Salah, and he's like this he's like this mythical creature that on any given day, whether he's playing badly or playing well, Bournemouth, he was average, scored twice. Against Everton, he was average, got an assist and a goal. He contributes all the time. I wonder if at some point, maybe in this run, he starts to slow down and you go, who's the other guy now? Because I don't think Liverpool have this other guy.
But we've been saying that all season, though, haven't we? We've been saying that all season, and it doesn't look like Salah is going to slow down. I think his natural levels have dropped massively. I don't think he was very good against Everton, but he still scored and he still got an assist. And that's just what he's doing at the moment. And I think Liverpool are lucky that when Salah isn't on the best of form, other players do seem to rise to the occasion. There was a couple of weeks back where Salah was particularly poor, and I think Gakpo just stole the show. He was by far man of the match, and I think there's just enough quality in there to be able to beat any team on their day. And I just want to go back to and disagree really with what you said about them not being put under psychological pressure. I think there's a huge psychological pressure at being at the top from the outset and throughout. And I think they've dealt with it very, very well. And that's what makes me confident with Liverpool going into games like this, is that there seems to be like kind of a ruthless calculation from Arne Slot. Like they lost to Nottingham Forest, which no one expected them to do after winning every game in the league. His press conference afterwards was not negative, it wasn't positive, it wasn't emotional, it was completely neutral. Exactly the same tone against Real Madrid when they won, when everyone was expecting Real Madrid to turn them over. So he has developed this sort of psychological edge where everything is very, very neutral. And the only time it's been tested was at Goodison Park last week. But I think that's just going to feed into Liverpool going into this game. I think they're angry about that. They'll be fuming.
They are. And there is scar tissue here for a lot of Liverpool's core players. You look at Salah, Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Alisson, in terms of they've been in title races before where they lost out to the greatest team the Premier League's ever seen. And so the reason why I don't think they feel the pressure as much is that they look behind them and it's an Arsenal team that haven't done anything, haven't proved anything. The team, if it was Man City behind them or Man City ahead of them, then the pressure is there because you know what Man City can do. But the fact that it's not Man City behind them, I think they're playing with relative ease and they're going to these games knowing that we are better than the opposition. If you look at Liverpool's fixtures or results, they're the only team in the Premier League that you can kind of call it, right? They'll win that game. They'll win that game. That game will be a draw because like they are consistent and they get the results you expect them to get. So against Villa, who will be a tough out, I think Liverpool just get the job done because that's what they do. The Merseyside derby is completely different, right? The last derby at Goodison Park, the variables, there's so many things that go into that. But I expect Liverpool to do what they do. And yeah, there is a pressure when you're at the top of the league and you expect them to win the league. But these players have been there and done that against teams that are a lot better than the teams that chase them right now.
All right, time for some predictions then. Kim, I'll start with you.
I think, and I said it before the game at Goodison Park as well, I think if Liverpool pass this test, they will win the league. I think there is absolutely no doubt that if they win this, they will win the league. It's going to be really, really difficult. And I was predicting a 2-2, but I just think the anger that the Liverpool players will have after that Goodison Park, I think they're just going to edge it over the line. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
I agree, 2-1 Liverpool. I think they get the job done. That's just what they do this season. And they're a team that have shown they are champions elect. I know we're in 24 games in, but I don't see anyone catching them in the next 14 games.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think Villa will have something for Liverpool. I think it'll be one of those games where Liverpool have like 20 shots, Villa have 2, and Villa score with their 2, and Liverpool only score 2.